German Shepherd burst into the hospital alone, carrying a bleeding girl on his back. Doctors froze in shock. Nobody knew where he came from. No owner, no warning. What happened next stunned the doctors, shocked the staff, and revealed a truth nobody was ready to believe. It was a normal Monday morning at St. Mercy General Hospital. The air buzzed with urgency. Doctors shouting orders, nurses running with stretchers, phones ringing non-stop. Then suddenly, everything stopped cold. Through the automatic glass doors walked a German Shepherd. This wasn't just any stray dog. On his back lay a little girl, limp and unconscious, her small hands hanging by his sides. For a few seconds, nobody moved. The receptionist's pen froze mid-air. A doctor stopped talking mid-sentence. The dog's paws echoed against the shiny floor as he walked toward the front desk, his eyes locked straight ahead, sharp and pleading. Gasps came from behind desks. A nurse stumbled forward, not sure whether to help or call security. The dog didn't growl or flinch. He just stood there, tense, like he was begging them to understand. Nobody knew where he came from, but right then, they all knew one thing. Something was terribly wrong. A nurse named Karen, frozen in disbelief, finally moved. She crouched down slowly, reaching her arms toward the little girl. The dog growled softly, not from anger, but from fear. His stance was protective, his eyes fixed on Karen's hands. But when she whispered gently, "It's okay, I'm here to help," the shepherd stepped back. Just enough. Karen scooped the girl into her arms. The child was frighteningly light, her skin cold and clammy. "We have a pediatric emergency," Karen yelled, rushing toward the trauma bay. Doctors and nurses sprang into action. Stretchers rolled out. Medical kits were prepared. Someone hit the blue code button, yet nobody could shake the image of the dog walking in with her. Behind the chaos, the shepherd started to follow. A security guard reached out to stop him, but hesitated. The dog wasn't trying to run away. He was trying to stay close, like he belonged right beside her. Inside the trauma room, the girl was gently placed onto a stretcher. Monitors were quickly attached. Her heart rate was unstable, her breathing shallow. Dr. Simmons, the head ER doctor, frowned deeply. "We're losing her," he muttered quietly. Nurses moved in perfect sync. Oxygen, fluids, vital signs. Yet there were no answers to the most pressing question. Who was she? Outside, the German Shepherd paced back and forth near the door, his nails clicking anxiously on the floor. Every time someone walked in or out, he tried to follow, letting out short, frustrated whines. Finally, one of the nurses, moved by his desperation, signaled for security to let him stay close. The moment the doors opened, the dog trotted to the girl's bedside. He sat perfectly still, watching every wire, every movement. Staff whispered in amazement, unsure what bond this animal shared with the child. But one thing was certain. He wasn't going anywhere without her. While doctors fought to stabilize the girl, hospital staff scrambled to piece together the mystery. Who was she? Where had she come from? And how did this dog know to bring her here? A nurse gently checked the dog's collar. No tags, no chip, just an old worn leather band. No name, no answers. Hospital security began scanning surveillance footage. They rewound to the exact moment the German Shepherd entered, emerging from the thick tree line that bordered the hospital's property. The footage showed him carefully approaching the automatic doors, pausing only briefly before stepping inside with the girl draped over him. The scene stunned even the most seasoned staff. He hadn't wandered in randomly. He had come here on purpose. There was intelligence behind those eyes, intention in every step. One of the guards called local authorities immediately. "We need a search team," he said, his voice tense. "Something serious is out there." By the time local authorities arrived, the sun had started to set. Led by park rangers and a canine unit, the search team followed the trail captured on the hospital's cameras straight into the dense woods. The German Shepherd, now nicknamed Hero by staff, growled softly as they pointed toward the forest. It was like he understood. They needed to go back. The trail led them through twisted trees and muddy ground. After nearly an hour, they stumbled upon a makeshift camp hidden beneath thick branches. A torn tarp, burned firewood, and scattered food wrappers told a dark story. Blood-stained cloth was draped over a log. A cracked phone lay in the dirt, its screen shattered. What chilled them most was the small shoe left behind, matching the one on the girl's foot. One officer whispered, "She was here recently, and she wasn't alone." The urgency to find answers only grew stronger. Back at the hospital, hours had passed by. The girl remained unconscious in the ICU. Her condition stabilized but fragile. The German Shepherd refused to leave her bedside. Nurses brought him water, and a blanket was laid beside her bed where he curled up, eyes fixed on her every breath. Staff members took pictures. Many had never seen anything like it. Then, just before dawn, a soft gasp escaped her lips. Her eyelids fluttered open, unfocused at first, then locked on the familiar figure beside her. Her lips trembled slightly. "Scout," she whispered, barely audible. The dog's ears perked instantly, his head lifting with a hopeful whine. A nurse called for the doctor, but nobody moved fast enough to miss what happened next. Scout gently stood up, rested his snout on the edge of the bed, and let out a soft huff as if to say, "You're safe now." The room filled with quiet tears. Later that morning, a child psychologist, Saint, sat beside the girl as nurses adjusted her IV drip. Her voice was hoarse, but her words were clear. "His name is Scout," she said, patting the German Shepherd's head. "He's my best friend." When asked what happened, the girl's eyes clouded over. She hesitated, then slowly began to speak. She explained that a man, someone who said he was her uncle, had taken her from her home. At first he was kind, but days into their time in the woods, he changed completely. He yelled, grew violent. Scout had tried to protect her, barking, growling, until finally she was struck. After that, everything went blurry and dark. "He wouldn't leave me," she said, her fingers gripping Scout's fur tightly. "Even when I passed out, he stayed." The hospital staff listened in complete silence. What they had suspected was now clear. Scout hadn't just found help, he'd defied danger to save her life. As the girl rested, investigators pieced together the timeline carefully. The injuries confirmed her story exactly. Bruises, fractured ribs, signs of prolonged exposure. But what stunned everyone most was the narrow window of survival. If she had arrived 30 minutes later, the doctor said grimly, we would have lost her. It became clear then, Scout had chosen the hospital, navigating miles of forest on instinct alone. Authorities returned to the woods with fresh urgency. Thanks to Scout's trail and the girl's description, they tracked the suspect to a nearby town. He was arrested trying to board a bus, disheveled, defensive, and with the girl's missing belongings in his backpack. His story crumbled quickly under questioning completely. The media swarmed the hospital within hours. Headlines read, "Canine hero saves kidnapped girl," and dog walks into ER with a miracle. But Scout didn't care for fame. He stayed curled beside the girl's bed, still loyal, waiting for her next smile. With the suspect in custody and her real family still untraceable, Child Services placed the girl in emergency foster care. But there was one condition she refused to let go of. "Scout comes with me." Officials hesitated at first, unsure how to handle the dog's guardianship legally. Yet after witnessing the bond between them, nobody had the heart to separate them. Scout adjusted quickly to their new environment completely. He followed the girl everywhere, by her side at every meal, every night curled near her bed. When the hospital held a small ceremony to honor him, the entire staff gathered, clapping as Scout was draped in a red ribbon. He didn't understand the cameras, the applause, but when the girl hugged him tightly, he stood proud and still. A nomination followed soon after that, the National Canine Bravery Award. Scout wasn't trained as a rescue dog, but his instincts and loyalty had outshone them.